You think it's a game? You think it's game? Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me go all out. DMX. Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me lose my cool.
I tried so hard.
What y'all really want? What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter. I tried so hard.
What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I tried.
Give me a sign. Dog, I meet bitches, the street bitches, slash, Cocoa Puff, sweet bitches, make you wanna eat bitches, but not me.
I tried so
I fuck with these hoes from a distance. The instant they start to catch feelings, I start to. What is it you want from it? I gave you, you gave me. I played you, you played me.
and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Welcome everybody to another live edition of the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega, and like always, every week joined by the boss Chris Blackheart. We're back again. Special edition of the Showcase Pod.
Edition. We have a repeat star, two-time guest.
Yes.
Are we going? How far down the road are we going today? Because I know there's a couple of topics. I like to get this guest fired up so early. So
Well, we're gonna go over the whole big news that's happened in wrestling since
big news.
since a long time. I mean, this has been going on for a while, but the scandal.
Court documents. We know the Showcase Pod is not shy to expose court documents.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, this stays up longer than our other ones did.
Yep. So, with that being said, we're going to go over the whole Vince McMahon scandal and the whole issues with the WWE. But joining us now to go down this road of accusations and clearance and all that stuff is Big Business. Welcome again to the Showcase Pod.
Gentlemen, hello.
Hello.
I just want to say to all of you that, and everybody that's watching, that this is going to be a full spectrum conversation, okay? There's no fedora tonight. There's no BBW management, things tonight going on.
Yep.
All right. And folks, make sure you go to BBW Management on Instagram. Give us a like, a follow. We're trying to do good things for good people. And you know what I'm saying? And if you have a problem with that, it ain't personal. It's BBW, man. All right. So, no, there's not going to be none of that going on. Okay. We're going to have a full spectrum conversation. I have my tasbih on with your African Muslim prayer beads. You know what I'm saying? And thus and such. This is going to be a righteous moment, folks. Point blank, period. Because there are things that need to be talked about. So I'll let y'all. This is your show, so we can go in order. We can go in order as to how we want to do this. We can go in chronological order on which topics we want to address first.
So, here people get excited. We like to get right to the nitty gritty. We like to get right into things. So, take us down the path, because you actually worked, if I'm not mistaken, in the building where this lady used to live and Vince McMahon used to live. The condo that he used to live in back in 2014. You used to work there, right?
Yes. Okay, so
Here we go. Inside information. I didn't see this on my court documents, by the way.
Hey, look. But okay. So we're gonna talk about the Vince thing first.
Yes.
Before we talk about this, I want everybody to know what my position on all of this is. My position on all of this is from the lens of a black man, right? Now, when we hear about these allegations and we see Vince McMahon on TV and the accusations and this, that, and the third, we're like, oh my God, oh, and the shock value of it all, right? But how they handle white women versus how they handle black men are completely different. What do I mean? Well, everybody's, we have our sympathy card out for this woman, and oh my God, her parents died and all this stuff. Rest in peace. I mean, no disrespect to the deceased. Let me make that clear. All right, but oh my God, she's this and she's that and this, that, and the third. And I get it. This is how, the narrative is when it comes to women. I get it. But for somebody like me, and I know I'm not the only brother out there that thinks this way. Let me make sure okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm switching over to Wi-Fi because I want to make sure I don't cut out. Okay. You still there?
Yep, we're here.
Okay. All right.
We got you.
So for me, I hear something like this, and we've all been hearing these stories for years now. But what we don't seem to do or want to do or talk about or take a look at because we're afraid of getting attacked and canceled and labeled a misogynist and a Trump supporter and all this fuck shit is that we're not taking a look at the accuser's background. All right? What do I mean? Remember when Trayvon Martin got killed?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Look at everything they said about him. He was a troubled teen. He one time brought a joint to school and got suspended for it, and all this other shit, and the kid was dead. All right. And everybody, say, oh, these black teens and people have the right to defend themselves and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right, they do. But, that happened. Then there are the other cases of Terrence Crutcher and what's his name in New York, Eric Garner in New York, and what I really had a problem with is them talking about Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old boy that was murdered on camera by the police. They rolled up on him and shot him like gangbusters. Right? But they say, oh, he was in and out of trouble. He's this and that and the third. This 12-year-old boy who was dead. He was younger than he was young. Then there was Philandro Castile, the brother that was shot in his car when he in front of his girlfriend and his girlfriend's kid, and he told the police officer, "I'm armed. Just to let you know, I'm armed. I'm a registered firearms user. Blah blah blah. What do you want me to do?" He's like, "No problem. Just take out your license." And he went to grab his license, and the cop thought he was going for his gun, and he shot him. Okay. And in every one of these situations, and then there's the guy who was actually a hero. There was the guy, I think it was in Cleveland, Ohio. Was it that he saw the girls who had been kidnapped for like 15 years or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And they were up in that place, and he saw him, and one of the girls ran out and said help, and he went and he did the right thing, and he got the police, and they went in there and they got all the girls, and he was a hero, right?
Yep.
They did an interview with him, and I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Fox News or something like that. And this has nothing to do with whether you're on the right or on the left. I'm just saying where I heard it from. And they talked about the first thing they did was brought up his criminal record. So here's my question. Why aren't we doing this with these victims? These victims who opted to be in these situations. All right? Now that I got that off my chest, because I could go into detail with that, but I'm not. I'm not here to bash women. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to have a full spectrum conversation. Now, you asked where I worked. And I may have talked about this on the last time I was on the show. If not, you can go to BBW Management on Instagram.com. I have a shoot video where I'm talking about this. So back in 2014, I worked there. I worked the overnight shift. I did security there, and the people that worked there, and the overnight guy that worked there, got to know him, talked to him. We chopped it up about a bunch of stuff, and I learned a lot. Do y'all know how much it costs to live in that's a Trump Park. If it's where I'm thinking of, this is a Trump Park. Mm-hmm. And it's on the corner of Washington Boulevard in Stamford, Connecticut. It's on the corner of Washington Boulevard, and I forgot what the cross street is. It's like Main Street or something like that. Do you know how much it costs to live in that building?
It should be pricey. I mean, for a woman that was struggling and lost her parents and didn't have a job and they didn't have any money.
No. Just at baselines, follow me. We talk about the building right now. Do you know how much it costs to live in that building? Yes or no?
In 2014 or in present market?
Okay, back then and now. I don't know what it is now, but I remember what it was back then.
So what was it back then?
For the floor model luxury apartment, for the default settings, we're talking somewhere between $6,500 and $8,500 a month in rent. That's for the default settings, mm-hmm. Right?
So it's 10 years ago, so it's probably double now.
Right. So then when you're talking about the luxury condos, which are the 34th and the 35th floor, and you're talking somewhere in the 10,000, 15, 20,000 a month range. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, these aren't the exact numbers. I'm just ballpark, right? So, like you just said, Richie, my whole thing is how could a young lady at 38 years old with no job afford to live in that building?
Yep.
So you're telling me?
I mean, I know. Listen, I know we're in the strong, independent, don't need no man, F all men era. We're winning and successful, but I'm sorry. Even in 2014, to live in that building, you had to be making a lot of money. All right.
Supposedly the salary at WWE, she was about $75,000 that she was getting paid.
Okay.
So 75, well, that if you just paid rent and that was it, she would be out of money in like 6 months.
Correct. So
follow the money.
So when they said that, of course, I was just, my radar was like, I was like, wait a fucking minute. But I said, all right, we're going to put that on the computer. We'll put that on the back burner for now and just pay attention as these things develop. Because, of course, we must not let this distract us from the fact that this is an election year, and there's a lot going on and there's a lot of effery going on, out here as far as politics, the law, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution and shit like that, which a lot of people are really clueless about and could care less about, apparently. So then there was, what happened, the accusations, right? What was it sex trafficking, snuggle struggle? I can't say the R word on YouTube, so we'll say snuggle.
Chris has the report here, so if you want to go through some of the charges there.
Go ahead, Chris. What are the charges?
Dan, do you want to bring it up?
Yeah, he's got it up on the screen there now. The initial complaint.
All right, so the defendants is World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, World Wrestling Entertainment LLC, Vincent K. McMahon, John Laurinaitis, allege as followed. All right, so you have her. Now was given. All right, so supposedly, so this supposedly happened in 2019 is when they supposedly first met. Does that sound right, wrong, or did you have any insight on that?
When did they meet?
Supposedly 2019.
Okay. Hey, real quick, can you see my face? Am I on video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, that's fine. 2019. So, and how? And that's the thing. What's the age of? How old is she?
They didn't put an age. They go, so the building residential manager wanted to help her, so she messaged McMahon and asked whether he could talk to her, sharing with her through the hardship, and maybe help her get a fresh start. And of course, Vince says, hell yes. So,
So the building manager
yeah,
introduced her to Vince McMahon.
supposing, yeah, because she needed some help, and now they didn't put the manager's name. But to
I
your
hope
best
it's
of your
not who.
knowledge, do you know if the same manager then is
I
now?
don't know if it's the same manager or not, man. If it is, it doesn't surprise me. Put it that way. If it is the same dude, I don't know if it is or not. So, and I'm not going to speculate,
Yeah.
but so let me make sure I have this clear. So, the building manager introduced her to Vince McMahon.
Yep, because
So she was already living in the building. Does it say how long she was living in the building
nope,
for?
nothing was there.
Okay.
Just said that her parents, she was recently taking care of her parents who recently passed. She felt hardship and that thought that Vince could give her a fresh start.
So it's probably the parents that were living in the
I
condo.
was just gonna say
Yeah.
that, Richie. Could we is there a possibility that the parents live there?
Yeah, and she couldn't afford the rent after the parents passed.
Right.
So, but the
Okay.
question is, why would Vince reach out to somebody that he
That he
doesn't
didn't
know
know. Nope.
and doesn't care for, and help her out for what reason? You know what I
Yep.
mean? What reason would Vince have to help this random person out? You
Oh,
know what I mean? Like,
say it again.
Here's
Get a
another question.
uh,
Because
phone
if
number.
what
I don't
what
know.
we speculate, if because this is
Oh,
all speculation from us. We're
I'm
all
on
just
seven.
there's a puzzle we're trying to piece together. So if she lived there with her parents, would it be possible that her parents knew Vince or Vince knew her parents?
Mm, most likely. Or maybe you can tell us that. Tell us about the residents who lived in that place. Were they,
I don't know. I don't know really anything about the residents.
but
I only met
based on your viewing, was there highline vehicles, appear to be wealthy individuals, carry themselves very privately? I mean,
so okay, so as far as the vehicles varied in the building. They varied. You had some that had high-end vehicles, you had some that had regular vehicles.
but when you were working there, you knew that working in Greenwich, working in
Stanford.
Connecticut, that there was
Stanford.
there was funds there.
Yeah.
All right, so you knew there was money there. I didn't see there anywhere in there about her living there, any money. I mean, there has to be. If her parents recently passed, I'm sure there had to be funds there because in the documents further down, it said that as McMahon dangled a career-making, life-changing promise in front of Mrs. Grant, he demonstrated an increase in lacking boundaries. And the salary supposedly was 80,000, approximately 6 months of rent. Does that sound somewhat accurate? Do you think? Do you think that that income would be able to pay bills on that establishment?
75K?
75K.
Hell no.
All right.
Hell no.
Follow the money.
So, right. So, no. First of all, now, again, because we don't know, we're only speculating based off of what we're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible that maybe her parents owned it and she was just living there?
I don't know.
It could be a possibility.
Based on your
That's a
experience,
possibility too.
were those more rental units or were they rent and lease and or units you could buy? Do you recall or?
I believe they were both.
Yeah.
I believe they were both.
All right. So
Yeah.
we have two options.
Now, the thing that gets me, that gets my attention is that the manager assumed that Vince could help her out. What's the reason
I
why
don't know.
you would assume that Vince is just gonna help out some random?
Well. Here's the thing: is that Vince is cool as shit. I'll give him that. Vince is cool as hell. I always had good interactions with Vince. So I met Vince when he came off the road. I want to say it was like Wednesday mornings at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. His limo would pull up, or the limo would pull up, and he'd get out. And I would always come open the door for him, shake his hand. Sometimes I would, escort him upstairs in the freight elevator. We just top it up light stuff. He didn't know I was a worker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I had a plan in my head. I was going to, my last day work day. Because again, when I first started working there, when I first saw him, I was like, oh shit, how am I going to do this? Because at that point, me and my ex-wife moving out to Ohio wasn't in the plans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we went out to Ohio in like, I want to say, I think it was like March or April, maybe it was around the beginning of April. And she had interviewed for this job, and she ended up getting the job. That's why we moved out there. But before that, I was right where I needed to be, and I was sitting there like, because at the time I was still wrestling. I was still working for. I was still wrestling up in Maine and shit, and I was wrestling for Sheldon and and Trooper, everybody. It was business as usual, no pun intended. So I was literally sitting there like, okay, I'm in the perfect position where I need to be. I just need to figure out how I'm going to do this, because I could do or say the wrong thing and Vince could get mad and I could get fired from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to be on some stalker shit.
Yeah.
So for months, and sometimes I would see Vince, sometimes I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Because, if I happened to be in another part of the building when it came in and I came downstairs and he was like, yo, Vince just came up. And I was like, oh, damn. But Vince is cool, man. I used to have lighthearted conversation with him. So on the last night I worked there, or maybe it was the second to night last. It was the last week that the last week that I was there. And he came in as usual, brought him upstairs, chopping it up. Hey, Mr. McMahon, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, what's going on, big man? Blah, blah. And so we're in the service elevator. Finally broke it to him. I said, hey, Vince, I wanted to let you know a couple of things, man. He's like, I said, first off, this is my last week working here. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy all of our conversations and shit and stuff. And the other thing is, I'm a wrestler. I'm a worker. He's like, really? His eyes got big and round. And I was like, yeah, man. I said, I've worked for the Savoldis. I've worked for Sheldon Goldberg. I've worked for, and given my, I've wrestled up in Canada, the Maritimes, Labrador, Newfoundland, Quebec, Montreal, etc. And I said, and I'd like to give it a shot. I'd like to come and work for the Fed. I think I have a lot to offer. He's like, all right, cool, man. Wow, man, you're a big guy. He goes, I don't know. Well, we'll take a look at you. Give us. He said, contact my assistant. I think his assistant at the time was Brad Blum.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, the elevator door opens. I said, thank you, Vince. And I didn't give him a work shake. I gave him a man shake. I said, thank you, Vince. I appreciate the opportunity. And it's been great chopping it up with you. He's like, all right, man, good luck to you. And away he went. And I went downstairs And I went to the lobby and I was like, yeah! And everything was great. I had Vince right where I wanted. And then, so then after that, I'll never forget. I went home. I went home that morning. And when my son woke up, I was talking to him and I was telling him what happened. And he looked so excited. He was just like, wow, I can't believe this. But then there was a look that he gave me. He just kind of looked away, like, and it was kind of like an empty kind of look. And I didn't say anything to him. I just kind of looked at him for a second, and it stuck with me for the rest of the day. You know, and then I went to sleep that night, and then I woke up and I realized what that look was. My son was abandoned by his mother. And, you know, because I was on the road a lot, TJ knew that when I was on the road, you know, like, especially like with Canada and shit, there were times I wouldn't see him for weeks at a time. You know what I'm saying? So when we were making that move out to Ohio, it was kind of like, for him, it was like, you know, Dad's here. Like, you know what I mean? He was going into his senior year in high school and he's here and he just, and him and my ex-wife, we just got married and stuff and everything. And life was really, and then like he did his senior year at this really good school out there in New Albany and all of that. And at that moment, I was touched by God. You know, and that's when I learned. That's when he told me. That's when God said to me, he said, I don't give you what you want. I give you what you need. And that stuck with me even to this day. See, folks, God doesn't give us what we want. It's the devil that gives us what we want. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you pray to God, oh God, please give me lots of money and riches and fame and success and all the things that I dream of. Well, the devil can provide that to you. All you have to do is sign on the dotted line, and that's exactly what she did. God gives us what we need, which is why there are 3 things that you can pray for God to give you, that he will always give you. And that is strength, endurance, and the willingness to push on in life. Which is why when you hear, when people achieve, when righteous and God-loving people achieve certain things in life, they thank God. We thank God for our accomplishments. We don't ask God for these things. We thank him. Okay, because guess what? If God gives us the endurance, the willingness, and the strength to push forward in life, everything else that we do is on us. He has nothing to do with that. Everything else is on us. That's why he gave us a choice. All right. That being said, everybody in this business, and even outside the business, knows that Vince McMahon is a mega pervert. Am I lying, boys?
I didn't see that in the lawsuit here.
He's like,
So, all right, so I'm still stuck on line 7. It says,
Let's
McMahon
talk
dangled the life-changing promises in front of Mrs. Grant. He demonstrated an increased lack of boundaries during several meetings with a potential job. He greeted her in his underwear, touched her repeatedly, asked for hugs, and spent hours sharing intimate details about his personal life. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've had a lot of meetings, and I do quite a few meetings throughout the week, but
You never met them in your underwears? Or?
I usually do not have meetings in my underwear. So, and ironically, it did not say was it done at the condo or this place? Was it done at WWE headquarters? But supposedly McMahon warned Mrs. Grant to keep their closeness a secret, and let the rumors lead to public trouble. And that helps while protecting loyal people. He had world-class legal resources on speed dial to deal with those who would become a problem.
So let me stop you there and let me ask you this. So you said that you have several meetings.
Several
You
meetings.
meet with people all
Yeah.
the time. Now if you on the other hand were to meet with somebody
Yeah.
and they greeted you in their underwear,
Yeah.
would you go there a second time for a second meeting or a third meeting or a fourth meeting or God knows how many meetings?
I think Mrs. Blackheart is watching this one, so I'll have to say no.
Okay.
No, but in both business settings, even if you meet a potential client at their house,
Yep.
if you do get there early, they would come out and say, "Excuse me," if they're wearing a bathrobe,
Yeah.
"Excuse me, I gotta go and change," and
Yeah.
they would, and then they come
Unless
back.
you're interviewing for some casting
Well, okay,
couch.
well, yeah, if you're doing a casting couch, or yeah,
anything
or
like that, you know
if
what I
it's
mean?
if it's a set environment, maybe a little bit different. But yeah, in this lawsuit, again, this is literally on page 2. They didn't say where they were meeting, and I don't really think he would just come out in his underwear for
Well, my
someone.
question is, if he did come out in his underwear,
Yeah.
why have a second meeting?
Yeah, or why would you stay there
Yeah.
during the first meeting? Yeah.
So, given all of that, and none of us are attorneys, and I'm not the, I'm not the brightest, I'm not the ripest apple on the tree, but given all of the text messages and the brief history that we know of, can we assume that they were in either a relationship or a situationship?
I'm thinking maybe if they weren't in a relationship, maybe they were doing some kind of friendly activities.
Yeah.
Okay, so a situationship.
Yeah, and it was, from a lot of the stuff I gather was that, some parties were happy as long as that situation was rewarded with certain gifts and money and luxuries,
Yep.
That is in the
Yeah,
court documents.
Cars, jewelry, trips to places, money, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks
Okay.
like on the court documents there's approximately a 2-year relationship from 2019, and then supposedly an NDA was March of 2022.
2 years.
2 years. Supposedly they are
Wait.
stating
The
that it was
NDA. What about the
supposedly-
NDA? Say it again.
It was March of 2022. All right, so this is line 28. All right, so following a media report that McMahon was involved in a hush money payment scandal, WWE released a statement in June of 2022 announcing that a special committee on the board of directors was investigating the allegations of misconduct, appointing Stephanie McMahon as interim CEO. So it took 2 years.
So now
That's kind of weird when you think about it.
but when you talk about the NDA, it was more so for the privacy of whatever relationship they had to stay private.
Correct.
That is, yeah.
It wasn't because he was trying to, hide that he was a trafficker or what was the other stuff they were calling him? A groomer.
A snuggle struggler.
Yeah, a groomer. It was none of that.
Yeah.
He just wanted their freaky shit that they did to remain private.
Right, and that's
Wait, groomer. I'm glad you brought that up. The term groomer. she was 19, 20, 21, 22,
Yeah,
then I would buy that.
Yeah, I don't see her anywhere
According
in
to,
this.
and you can do a quick wiki search.
What's her what was her name again?
Was it Grant? Mrs.
Was
Grant.
it,
If you
is
put
it
WWE
Janelle or
lawsuit,
Jeanette or something like that? I have it on my phone, but
Yeah,
I'm not.
Janet.
Pull that up,
Janet.
Danny. What's her age?
She's like 43.
43 now, so I think she was 38 when this
So
happened.
she was an old woman then. This is no 20-year-old. This
So you expect me to believe that a 38-year-old woman was groomed by a 70-something-year-old man, right?
yeah.
I got news for you, all of you white knights and you Captain Saber hoes that just want to believe this shit at face value. From somebody who's gotten enough box in his life, I never had that problem getting box. Never. Okay? I've turned down more box than I've accepted. So let me be clear when I say this to y'all. When it comes to women, you cannot mold stale bread. This woman was, you might as well round it off to 40. She was set in her ways. Okay? She had already hit the wall. She was a post-wall borderline cougar. All right? She knew what she was getting into. And if she didn't, she should have. Because like I said, everybody knows that Vince McMahon is a mega pervert. Okay?
So going on that, Dave.
And by the looks of her, wait, let me finish, Richie. And by the looks of her, she's not a bad looking chick. But just looking at the symmetry of her face, she looks like she might be a little tall and probably has a nice body on her.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, real quick, let's apply that logic that we talked about at the beginning of the show. She's been an adult now for what, almost 20 years. For almost 20 years now. Right? She knows what's her background. What's her history? Because she was involved in this shit. All right? She agreed to do this shit. They were in a 2-year relationship. Listen. Me and my girl ain't been together that long, and we do some freaky shit. Now, we don't do that perverted shit. I ain't shitting on her forehead or nothing like that.
I don't want to get into some of the. They did put it.
Listen, I'm just saying for context here.
All right. Well, no, there's.
All right. When you're in a 2-year,
where's up? Hey, Danny, you want to bring up the
when
stuff
you're banging, when
with
you're
the physical therapist
for 2 years.
Yeah.
When you're smashing a chick for 2 years, it's safe to say that you're used to her and y'all are used to each other and comfortable. And you
look
feel
there
me?
around line like page 32 or something. Yeah, I'm trying to find. Well, so my question is, I can't find the gifts offhand exactly what she got, but if she was employed at WWE for a job that she knew nothing about, which they did put in there, she knew nothing. And I guess other people in the office knew she needed nothing.
Clearly.
So the question with that is this the first time that Vince brought somebody in? Because there was supposedly allegations that there was stuff taking place at Titan Tower too, and that's why she was hired. Now I'm trying to figure out. Now we know Vince is known for not sleeping, but is this why Vince was always up?
No pun intended.
No, but because people say that if you sneeze is a weakness, if you sleep is a weakness. Vince supposedly gets like 3-4 hours of sleep, especially during that time. I'm still trying to put it together how his schedule would look. Now he has say 20 hours of the day, and he spent all of his day texting with this young lady, or moving her throughout Titan Tower. to various people like John Laurinaitis or the therapist that's in here or this unnamed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm a victim here. I was
So,
forced to.
like,
I
I'm
was
trying. I'm
forced to
trying to
have
find out,
relations with this woman.
who's his scheduler because they did a fantastic job between moving this young lady around.
So now that you brought all these things up, I'm checking on the phone here,
Yeah.
and talking about people's backgrounds. Anytime you type her name in or whatever, it's just McMahon that comes out. There's no background on her, no history
Yep.
on
Didn't
her.
find anything.
So she don't ever use social media. She just doesn't have a LinkedIn account. There's
I
nothing.
don't
I mean, I'm
understand.
sure all that's been deleted now, obviously.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah. I
understand.
mean,
Like, there's no
that's
real
probably what happened.
actual background on her, which is interesting because if you're on social media and you work for the WWE, there should be
Should be
some type
something
of
there.
background on you.
So,
Correct.
I mean, it looks
Now,
like the lawsuit was set for 3 people: Vince McMahon, WWE Incorporated, because that's WWE LLC, which brings in to the new company, and John Laurinaitis was tied in there also. So the question I'm having there is, what employees get? Again, I couldn't. I know the list is there. And if anyone comments on it, you want to put up the list. But it looks like she got a car. She got multiple gift certificates and gift cards like Bloomingdale's and shopping
Supposedly
sprees.
she got plastic surgery.
You got some surgery paid for. I don't think normal people at a normal job making $75,000 as a talent relations is getting those kind of perks.
Hmm.
So, are people saying that she was unaware that this is not part of the job, or I mean that part to me just seems kind of weird. It's like they're focusing on this poor young lady who Vince picked up for hardship, but
Well, yeah,
if you're painting the picture,
the 38-year-old that he was grooming. So
yeah.
I guess.
But it sounds like there's a lot of missing people. Well, a lot
So
of
now
missing pieces,
she's 44 years old
which makes sense.
right.
currently. Let's see what else I could find here.
And then, what the fuck?
So
man?
when the lawsuit wasn't about the allegations for what happened. The lawsuit was because they signed an NDA, they gave her funds. It looked like it was supposed to be a total of $3 million. I think it was $1 million up front, and I think it was
There's
like
really no history on her. All her history and everything there is to know on this woman, E-Balls,
All right,
being
so
attached to WWE. Other than that, if that doesn't happen, no one knows who the
all
fuck
right,
she
so
is.
then I mean,
Uh,
and this is me playing.
she got a 2022 BMW and a diamond necklace.
Word?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that included some of the gifts that she got.
which normal employees don't get that.
Yeah.
Boy,
But
white women just they're some really spoiled victims, boy. I tell you.
so if she has no social media history, like her
Y'all
name
gotta-
never comes up, or you said on anything. Everything was McMahon.
Well, yeah, everything.
So you may have to go to page like 14 or 15. So which means she probably never had a work history. Which means
Okay.
there's probably, going back to the family funds, there's probably some family money in there.
Yeah, it just says she was born in Connecticut. She's 44 years old.
Yeah.
Really
Okay.
nothing specific on any
Born in
professions
Connecticut.
other than the WWE.
So that, yeah. So all right. So let's figure this. All right. So everything she put in there, she's not denying. I don't know too many people that put in court document that they'd want submitted and everybody to read that they got shit on. But I mean, that is in the court documents that McMahon, and I think it was the physical therapist was doing some activities.
Some fecal matter.
Some fecal matter was dropped on her head. Vince left, yet made her stay there with the therapist, and then other things continued. It came back. So she's not suing for the actions right now. She is suing because she didn't get paid from the NDA, which I always found was very interesting because all the things that were going on. I mean, I believe Seth. They were saying that trafficking was involved. It looks like there was other people brought in, Laurinaitis and other people, but everything. The thing that I've never seen in the court document, she never reported to anybody. She never reported to her friend, family member, the management guy, the police,
Well, there was
the
no.
security, people at work. There's no mention anywhere that if she was being victimized, why did she not reach out to anybody? I didn't see anything out of, I think the whole thing is 67 pages. I read the first 15 pages really well, and then everything was just kind of repeated of Vince's activities. Again, this is all one-sided
man,
still.
The word of God can't cancel itself, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, and before we just, because I'm limited on time tonight. I just want to say something. I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I want to get to these text messages. All right.
I'll be honest, I didn't read them because
Let's go through them right now.
Oh, you can read them. I couldn't read them.
Listen. Everything is contextual, okay? And when you read these text messages, it is blatantly obvious that they are in some sort of relationship, whether it's a freaky sexual relationship or a whatever. But I want to read. Hold on. I want to read because we've all been in this situation where we're with a woman, y'all talking to each other, get a little dirty and blah, 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 right? I want to read this real quick. Let's take one of these text messages, okay?
Wait.
Let's say I'm
Can we call this bedtime stories with big business?
No, this is, yeah, okay. Yes, bedtime stories with big business. Put on your nightgown and your cap. Here we go. Ready? Oh, I love it. That's you, Janelle. You just can't get enough, can you? In the future, it's gonna be so bad that you'll demand to be fucked twice a day and not just with blank in a three-way. Why not let others see the beautiful, voluptuous body and watch you shake uncontrollably when you come? Oh, yeah. They'll go out their minds. Then they'll find out. Then they'll find more friends and we'll tie you up. Well, so you're helpless. I'll direct them to have their way any way they can and that they want. Who can make you scream the loudest? Maybe I'll just line them up and have them squirt in your mouth. Oh, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Your pea sleeve all over your chesticles and butt cheeks all at the same time. You'll be covered in cum, and we'll make you eat it all and taste everybody's cum. The next morning, you'll be a little sore, but you're still gonna want more. After that, effing over and over, yeah.
I don't think I've ever texted anyone that long.
Was this on the Attitude Era Monday Night Raw episode? Which episode was this?
Yeah, I like games, Tori. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right, Tori. Come on. Now, if I'm texting, and of course, and see, this is what women do nowadays, is they'll cut, you won't see the whole conversation. They'll take pieces of it, and that will be used as evidence. What we see, and this was May 11th, 2020. Literally in the middle of the pandemic, the beginning of this text message, he says, "I love it. That's you, Janelle. You just can't get enough, can you?" Now, from an outsider looking in, when you read those first few lines, Chris, what would go through your mind when you read those first few lines?
Well, I think that's the problem.
That's Texas.
Which one? What page
I'll
are we?
say it again.
What
The-
page are
these
you
first-
on?
These first few lines, I have the screenshot of them. I don't have the.
All right.
It
Yeah.
just have,
No.
it's Vince saying, "I love it." That's you, Janelle.
Yeah.
You just can't get enough, can you? Now, instead of y'all answering that question, I'll answer that question. She said something before he went on this sexual. She said something. They were talking dirty to each other. She said something to set that shit off.
Yeah, she must have said that she enjoyed it because he says, "Oh, that's you," you know.
He said, "I love it. That's you, Janelle. You just can't get enough, can you?" And I know she was hot in the body because he said it. He said, why not let others see the beautiful, voluptuous body and watch you shake uncontrollably when you come? Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Listen. As somebody that spent years as a bouncer and in the strip around strippers, I'm gonna tell you that there are girls that I would be looking over their shoulder, and I'm talking about right up until a couple months ago. I'd look over their shoulders and they were talking to some trick. I swear to God, this dude was jizzing all over her phone, all over his phone, and this chick was just sitting there smoking on her hookah in the club, naked, texting. Okay? Oh yeah, baby, I can't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say, you know, we're not gonna go there, but so when I read something like this, I'm like, wait a goddamn minute, man. Come on, hold time out. And when you read all of these text messages, they are in response to what she's saying. Mm-hmm. Now I love how they just put certain highlighted, because you know when it comes to the blue text, that's you. That's what you're texting. And she says in two instances, right after Vince says, exactly, baby, he's not the only one, blank. Called me this afternoon begging to eat you and F you with his nice and hard penis. And then she responded and said, give me another week, baby, and I'll be ready. I'm not feeling more like myself. It's not great, but it's getting better. Tell him soon. She's a whore.
So the question that I haven't seen
She's
anywhere
a
in social
whore.
media.
She's a raging Jezebel. She's a slut. She's a whore. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris. I had to get that out.
No. So all right. So
the bitch is a whore.
all right. So the question. Okay. So now we go to Vince, right? So this is probably his last relationship like this. But the question is, I'm sure it's not his first.
No,
so
it's not going to be his last either.
If this started in the 80s,
mm-hmm.
where are the other bodies? And the question, let's go down the rabbit hole when it comes down to it. Was talent used like this, or was it just outsiders used like this? You know, because you've seen various on social media people talk about different stuff, but I haven't heard anyone say that either Vince did something to them as a talent, or anyone who saw any of these items taking place. I mean, anyone say I didn't see anything, you know? So is this a board, or is this a chairman acting inappropriate after hours? Is that what they're trying to say, or is that something that Vince was funneling through the company, and this was like the company culture?
Right. Right. Here's the problem. Vince waited too late. Well, there's two problems here. Vince waited too late to have her sign an NDA. Okay. Number one. Number two, okay, you were already in a relationship doing all the freaky mega pervert shit that you like to do, Vince, which is no big secret. Oh, by the way, Vince is not only into girls, he's into guys. Side note.
I didn't see that in this court paper.
Side note. Listen, y'all,
Which page?
we're here at the bottom, so who gives a fuck what we say? We're not popular. We're not. There's,
Page
you know, we're
28.
not. What are we gonna get? 12 people on this? 20 people view this. So who cares? Let's talk heavy, guys. Let's talk real, right? It was after one of the Powerhouse shows back in the day, and where I was tasked with giving Larry Zabisco a ride to the airport, right?
Uh-oh.
So as we're headed to, I don't remember where we were going. Maybe we were headed to the airport. And we're sitting there smoking a blunt. I said, Larry, tell me about Vince McMahon. I know you used to work for the Fed back in the day. He's, oh man, Vince is half a F word. I can't use it. You know, maggot minus the M plus the F. He said, Vince is half an F word. No, we used to go to different cities and you know, late at night he would take the limo out looking for guys. And that's when he used to talk about how when Vince had his little bodybuilding fed, whoever the champ was whoever his boyfriend happened to be at the time. All right. So full spectrum conversation. We all know he's a mega pervert, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to get sidetracked. Where were we, Chris?
Oh no, you're doing fine. Just because was this the culture? No talent has came up to say that they were assaulted by Vince or had any relationships with Vince.
Right.
You can read that one, Danny. We may have a guest reader on a text.
Well, what was that? What was that text? What the?
Danny wants to read a text from.
Is that from Vince?
I don't know. This was from. This is after the threesome began. McMahon became
page 28.
All right, so go ahead, Danny.
Danny, you want to read this, or do you want bedtime stories of big business?
No, let Danny read it.
So, responding to your last picture, you need your panties ripped off and 3 big black dicks in all 3 holes at the same time. Way up your pussy and way up your ass as far as they could go, but even further. And the thickest cock goes down your throat, so it makes you gag and convulse. Those big black cocks pound away. It feels like the start of your being assaulted, but made you come non-stop, and just continuous constant orgasms just before you pass out. Those big black dicks squirt the loads of cum inside you. As you lay on your stomach, the cum is coming out of your hole, and I'll turn you over and I'll jack off all over you. That sounds gay to me, man.
What?
I feel sorry for the jury on this. Some of these people are going to be shell shocked. And this is a court. Anyone who's going to, we haven't seen on social media people talking, but this is all a court document. This is a legal document in the United States court system. This is not anything that we're making up or changing or.
I mean, they've had to take a walk.
I think big business is having a cigarette right now.
As a card carrying foundational Black American man, heterosexual, I have to do this right now. I have to hold the L. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry for being a part of a group of men who well-deserved earn the title of tripods, okay? who are wanted strictly because of our sexual talent to blow that back out, all right? To literally create, to go where no white man has ever gone before, to press the boundaries of that vagina wall and anal cavity where no one has ever gone before. And Vince was specific. Wait, hold on. Let me just help. And Vince was specific. What did he say? 3 black dicks?
Yeah, he wanted 3 for whatever reason.
Vince, I thought you loved this woman. That was you. You wanted to kill her. That reminds me of some. Oh, never mind. That sound like some hub shit right there. He said 3 black dicks. Yep, all up in your holes.
Yeah, he wanted 3 big black cocks and the biggest one down her throat so she could convulse while she's gagging.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he was. I mean, some of the shit. I mean, makes
Richie,
me
I
wonder.
hold
This is
this
how he
L for
writes
you
TV.
too.
I mean, shit.
Richie,
Well,
Richie,
okay,
you're
we
a black
text
man
messages,
too.
he
I
says he
hold
passed the
this
phone
L
around
for
to the
you
crew.
too. I hold this L for all of us. In the name of Allah, why have you cursed us with this blessing, God?
All right.
Good Lord.
All right, so I know we probably have about another 10 minutes left, but let's get down to all the people who are, they like jumping on bandwagons. Did the subscriptions for Peacock Network go down? Did the ratings for Raw go down? Did the stock prices go down? I don't see people burning WWE merchandise, dolls. All these people that are jumping on her, it's not her side, but are really upset about
I
this.
call cap.
Yeah.
Call cap.
Yep.
You know why? Because these same people will still watch Chris Benoit matches.
Yeah.
These same people will still say, man, I don't care what anybody says. Chris Benoit was one of the best wrestlers ever. You motherfuckers gonna stand on principle now? No, you're not. No. You're gonna sit there and cape. You're gonna sit there in white knight. You're gonna sit there and simp with your punk asses because you have zero integrity. You're not man enough to ask the uncomfortable questions. You just gonna believe all this bullshit. See, that just goes to show you that a lot of these motherfuckers ain't really been in the business like that. Let me explain something to both of y'all, and then we can wrap it up, and then we can spend like 2.5 minutes talking about that other thing. In my experience in the business, on all the wrestling tours and shows and stuff like that I've ever been on, I have never bared witness to anybody committing an act of the snuggle struggle. I won't allow it. Okay? Never. Every situation that I bared witness to was a completely consensual act. Completely. All right? Meaning she agreed to it. She wasn't forced. She propagated it in many cases. Like she started the conversation and then it led to something like that. All right? There was, okay. Let me revise that, what I just said. There was one situation that happened years ago where, and I'm not going to mention his name, okay? We all make mistakes. Dude was drunk as a skunk and high as a kite off that white powder, off that blow. Mm-hmm. All right? And there was a situation at a show somewhere in New England where after the show, everybody went out, drank, partied and everything. And dude went off with some chick, and the chick came back to the bar crying, saying that this individual got a little aggressive. Okay? So when I found out about this, I was not happy. And when others around saw that I was not happy and that I was going to have a conversation with this person, Word got back to him that I was going to have this conversation with him. And when I pulled up on him, this motherfucker was shitting himself. He was scared. Scared. All right. He was shitting in his drawers. I mean, he was like, Dave, come on, Dave, look, Dave, look, listen, I wasn't, you know, and he went, and I finally was like, hey, stop. And, you know, I was mature about it, meaning I didn't whoop his ass because I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened. I just saw her. The girl was upset because, you know, now he didn't, you know, commit the act, but it was SA. All right. And I confronted him and I said, listen, number one, you're up here on somebody else's dime. You're up here on this person's dime. This person's running the show. I'm not going to say who he was either. I said, and there's certain types of behaviors that are unacceptable. That is one of them, sir. No means no. All right? Now, I have a choice right now as to whether I'm going to fuck you up right here in this room or I'm just going to have a conversation with you because, you know, I realize that you are not completely in your right mind. So I decided to take the path that wouldn't get me locked up again. And you know this person, Richie, and Chris, you know this person. I'll tell you who he is off camera, but off mic. But That was a long time ago. He made a mistake. He clearly knew he made a mistake. And he even hit me up the next day, like, you know, texted me like, hey, bro, I just want to say how sorry I am. I was really fucked up last night. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that kind of person, blah, blah, blah. All right. So that's my position as far as the snuggle struggle and SA and all that other stuff. All right. I will not allow it. Okay. I do everybody that knows me, y'all can ask anybody in the business. Anybody that knows me, they know where I stand as far as that goes. That being said, I have seen more fuckery committed by the female gender, by women, and really that I care to think about. So, you know, and again, that comes from not just my experience in the wrestling business, but as a bouncer. Okay, this year marks 30 years that I've been a bouncer, part-time. I'm actually half retired right now, but 30 years I have been in the business, and I have seen, and that includes strippers, and I have seen the most debaucherous shit go on. I've seen guys attempt to, you know what I'm saying, in somebody's drink. And I've also seen women try to do that to other women. I've seen gay women do that to other women. They're actually more guilty of that than men are, by the way. I'm telling you as a matter of fact. I've never the women that I've had to carry out on lesbian nights versus regular heterosexual people there's no comparison. Okay, and I don't care who has a problem with that. I said what I said, and I meant what I said, and I stand by that shit. It's true. So in closing, I want to say I'm not saying Vince isn't guilty of being a pervert. Okay, so far everything that we have seen. First of all, as Rene Dupree said, and I listened to him. I listened to Cafe de Rene, and I love Rene, man. I haven't seen him in years. My regret is when his dad died, that I didn't reach out to him, but I was going through a lot at the time when his father passed. So I didn't get a chance to reach out to him, tell him, offer my condolences to his family. But he said something in one of his interviews. He said, so far, these are just allegations. Okay? And we have to keep this in mind. These are allegations. All right? Now, in the court of public opinion, is Vince guilty of being a mega pervert? Yes. Is he in violation? Did he break the law in a consensual relationship? I haven't seen any evidence because, again, she agreed to all this shit. And remember, no means no, right, gentlemen?
Yep.
Okay, just so we're clear. You don't have to do all that freaky sick shit. And I'm sure at some point Vince asked her, because he's not stupid. It's an 80-year-old man. He asked her, "Are you comfortable with doing X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C?" And she could either say, "No, I'm not," or "Yeah, let's do it." Especially when there's money involved. That being said, isn't it a $5 billion deal right now going on with Netflix and Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, that already happened. That's starting
Yep.
next year. They're moving to
Right.
Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this shit coming out, y'all got to understand what's going on in our society right now is the battle of the wealthy.
Yep.
Anytime something like this comes out, even what's happening with Trump, with that old ass broad that claims that he did something and who he never even met, or maybe shook her hand for 5 seconds. All right, all this shit is happening for a reason, and it is up to us. We can have our opinions, but what we can't do is convict somebody when they haven't had, their time to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, and that's one thing, the biggest thing that hasn't came out. Vince did do a statement of why he stepped away for the betterment of the company and everything. And
Correct.
that's it. There's been, as attorneys would tell you, less is more, ironically, in the ring and in the courts until you get there.
My question is, where's her text messages?
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's a good question.
Yeah, so this
that-
story is not over.
That'll be for a second part there, because it's a lot of, we can still come back once this gets going, and then go over it again and see when new developments take place. So we'll definitely
To be continued.
we'll visit the topic again, and I'm sure people are gonna have opinions and suggestions and comments, and you are welcome to leave
Yep.
those.
I want to see all of these anti-WrestleMania parties on
Yeah.
the first weekend of April in Philadelphia.
Yeah, because ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, this thing has been going on in wrestling and other forms of entertainment for years and years
To-
before we was even born, and people
And
still.
this is not exclusive with the WWE.
Well, no, I didn't think people forget about that, but I think the fact that he got removed is what any company would have done when
Yeah.
their
Yes.
CEO, a top board member is getting exposed like this. You remove the person, and that's exactly what they did. So they did what they had to do corporate-wise, but again, let's follow the money.
And to all of y'all that want to have these anti-WrestleMania parties and all this stuff,
I haven't heard of one.
if it happens, like I said earlier, to all of you White Knights and Captain Saberhose, these women aren't going to give you any box because you're championing this cause.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you the box, okay? So stop with your outrage.
So there won't be
You already
any
knew he was a
epic
mega pervert.
parties on the North Shore on WrestleMania weekend.
Right.
Uh,
Listen, y'all, listen. Vince can buy and sell anytime. I mean, he's been doing debauchery is only the tip of the iceberg. He's a billionaire, yo. These people live a different lifestyle.
yeah.
Okay. So like I said, to all you Simpson White Knights, listen, I understand. I get it. You want to do what's right. But common sense ain't so common anymore. Okay, and we see what happen, and we see what happens when certain women start false narratives. Okay, and we see these little spineless jellyfish championing their cause when they have no idea of the person that they're dealing with.
Yep.
Dave, I just did I did my money trail, and if
Mhm.
Vince was paying her $3 million for the NDA, and they were together for 2 years? Did I
Yep.
put?
Yep.
That's $1.5 million a year, yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
that he would have paid her.
Oh, I did 3 years. I did 3 years.
And Vince
She was
should
getting
have paid
paid
his bill, damn it.
20 grand a week for the items that she did with Mr. McMahon, the activities. It's 20 grand a week.
So, yep. With that being said, we got to get into our plugs before we wrap it up. We're back at the Taunton BFW Hall, 82 Ingle Street. The road to March anniversary begins this February 16th. That's a Friday night, 7:47 p.m. bell time. Tickets are up at SP Wrestling, at ShowcaseProWrestling.com for that event. Chris Blackheart, things are getting
That
geared
is
up.
one of the biggest things coming out of on February 16th. We will be announcing 90% of the matches will be announced that night for March anniversary.
So there you have it, February 16th, Taunton, Mass. Friday, 7:47 p.m. bell time. The next night, we're going to be at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Warwick, Rhode Island for FanFest 9. ImmortalSeats.com for all the information there. Tickets are available now. I don't know if Danny pulled it up on the screen. Yep, there it is. Trish Stratus, Shelton Benjamin, Rodman. I mean, the list goes on and on. That's going to be a great event there.
Yo, man, did
ImmortalSeats.com.
you say that's on Friday or Saturday?
That's the 17th. That's on a Saturday night.
Oh, I won't be. I'll be in Canada. Yo, dude, if you want to do, we should do a live stream, man. I want to do a live stream. I've never met Dennis Rodman. Dennis is my favorite NBA player of all time. I love that dude, man.
Yep, I'm looking forward to seeing.
It's my
Rodman.
birthday weekend too. Your boy's turning 50. You got to. That'd be the greatest birthday present ever.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can put him on the live stream.
Yo, and one more thing I want to say. Tune in next week, right? Tune in next week where we talk about this whole big business shit at the Boston Gardens. How y'all gonna take my shit like that, man?
Oh, we should cut Dave off to aggravate him.
We're gonna talk about that, Tony Khan. Your ears are gonna be burning, goddammit. I know somebody's out there to get me. I'm gonna blow up that spot when tune in next week. Y'all gonna have me back next week? If y'all want to have me back next week, we can talk about that all next week because we didn't get to talk about that this week. We can talk about that next.
February 20th. Speaking of Boston, February 24th, Royal Crown Wrestling makes their debut at Results in Boston, Mass. Tickets are on sale at RoyalCrownWrestling.com. RCW on Instagram and Facebook. Follow us there. Sabio Vega and myself will be taking on the Union. All the information is up online right now. So RCW Results in Boston, February 24th, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Then we move on to March, where we're back at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena on Saturday night, March 2nd. That's the last one before March anniversary 17th. So go check that one out in Woonsocket. Then we roll up on the 15th of March, Friday night, for March anniversary 17 years. Big celebration there. Lots of surprises, lots of things happening. You want to get your tickets now. Usually it's a sellout. So
It is. That link is live right now, so anyone who wants to get it, we do advise getting them before, because March anniversary literally is standing room only, and the last 2.5 years coming out of COVID, we did have to, unfortunately, not let everybody in the building.
well, don't be that person that doesn't get let into the building this year. Join us March 15, Friday night, 7:47 p.m. bell time at the Taunton BFW Hall for March Anniversary 17. The matches will be announced at our following event. Stay tuned to all the social media for those announcements. We're going to have the press conference, all that good stuff coming up. You want to stay tuned at SP Wrestling. Then on the 23rd of March, Powerhouse Wrestling returns to Leominster, Massachusetts at the Elks Lodge. On that night, you'll get to see Nunzio take on former WWE superstar Enzo Amore, as well as the debut, I think New England debut since his days in the WWE. Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson, comes to Powerhouse Wrestling and will be going at it one-on-one in a street fight. That's March 23rd, Leominster, Massachusetts, at the Elks Lodge. Powerhouse Wrestling, New England, on Facebook, Instagram, and all social media. SP Wrestling at all social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, where I think 70-something followers away from 1,000. Help us get there. Hit that subscription button, hit the like, leave us a comment, all that good stuff. You got anything, Chris Blackheart?
Yeah, it's WrestleMania season, as we do know. So if you are somebody for WrestleMania or not for WrestleMania this year, if you want to be a WWE superstar or not, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, Showcase Wrestling Training Center. Come on down, have a conversation with us, or send an email anytime at promoter@showcaseprowrestling.com. We'll shoot you some information, but usually between WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, people get the urge and the itch. It is the greatest decision. If you ever wanted to be a pro wrestler, just do it. Stop thinking about doing it. Go through that door.
Well, that's the hardest step, going through
It
the
is.
door, right?
Absolutely.
So make sure you join us there Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. The accelerated program on Wednesdays with Coach Ken Doan, and Mondays and Tuesdays with myself and yourself. So again, all that info at showcaseprowrestling.com and at SP Wrestling. You want to join us for all the upcoming events. For that,
Let's leave a little hook. We may get BBW management back next week, but let's just say somebody is not happy with the name of big business being used in Boston. With that being said, it's time to
Follow
wrap it up.
me, BBW Management on Instagram. BBW Management on Instagram. Tony Khan, your ears are going to be burning, my friend.
you go follow Big Business at BBW Management on Instagram. Make sure you give us a follow as well at SP Wrestling. But for now, that's all we have for tonight. Join us next Thursday for more of the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega. This is the boss, Chris Blackheart. We'll catch you down the road.